what he's doing on B, for example, or vice versa, why he's doing it, why he isn't rotating or is rotating, all that stuff. So for those of you in GoTV, I would say watch Zipex the entire match.
He is very methodical. Right, Astralis starting off on that CT side indeed.
What he's doing on B,
opting to go with a couple players with grenades here, and I like that, quite cool. Just, you know, a little stack there at the bottom of Banana on this sheer angle. If there is to be a peak, they get a really favorable engagement. But Astralis, they don't want to do any such thing. They are just waiting quite passively for complexity, and this is a good way to start off your CT pistol in a best-of-1 format. Just play it safe and see what your opponents are up to. Zipex gets some information. He's going to fall back a bit, and he's going to be able to get a boost there from Glaive. But what are Complexity doing here? They are just making things a bit more obscure for Astralis. After showing themselves, they're waiting a bit. They're not really showing anything else. At this point, Astralis have very limited information.
Complexity moving towards A with 5 players now. Interesting angle from Device. I'm sure he'll peak with a timing. So he is not holding the angle 100% of the time. He's peaking every few seconds, and we may see Complexity look towards Arch, see no one, then go towards Short, and he shoots him in the back of the head. Unfortunately, the Diggle peak was timed well for Complexity, and here they come. But Magic's Boy is holding things down in a pit position, running out of bullets. He would have had a free kill there. Tried to get a reload in, but Android will stop him. 3 versus 3 as they tried to get the bomb down, but it's still in the pit.
Yeah, Magis did a great job there. Imagine if he wasn't able to do that. It would be a 5v3 here, but he's given Astralis a very nice chance moving into this retake. Glaive has a smoke grenade as well, but so did Complexity. Stanislaw, though, with the backstab, and the USP is going to give him a lot of room for error, but Device turns around and it just takes him down. The clothesline maneuver there from Device as Astralis finish up the round, and they will get a defuse in with plenty of time. So great retake from them. Device looking pretty on point this early morning. What day is it, James? Is it Thursday? Thursday.
I don't know, but I just noticed I forgot to take my pass off before we went live on the camera.
Yeah, I saw that. I thought it looked very nice.
Yeah, it's
went very well with the dress shirt.
Contrasting with the colours.
Yeah, no fashion faux pas for you.
Yeah. So, as you saw there, because I know all of you in GoTV were watching Zipex, had to make a play through the smoke with good timing with his teammates. So much to learn already. Right then, let's see what Complexity choose to do. The bomb was planted in the first round. Sometimes you will see a surprise buy, but they've given Astralis enough respect, so the odd pistol will be purchased for this round. So try to do some economical damage. There's absolutely value in getting 1 or 2 kills here, whether they plant the bomb or not. And as these eco rounds come through later on, and Astralis have the M4s and so on, those kills become even more expensive to the CT side. We're talking like $5,000–6,000. So lots of value to be had just getting 1 or 2 kills here for Complexity. But of course, that won't be the easiest task in the world. Device abusing the range of the M4A4. You see how he changes his position as well between each kill. So if they say, okay, he's close to the left, he's near the corner, or he's facing the immediate angle, he changes it up, so he tries to avoid getting pre-fired. Small tidbits there, and now the AK's come out for Complexity.
You're going to start calling him the Professor, James, maybe? You know, you learn so much from him, you study him.
Zipex?
Yeah. Could be a good nickname, the Professor.
I'm not feeling it. I'll be honest, I'm not feeling it.
I got rejected. Right. Well, this is a great start for the Danes. However, Complexity are brandishing these lovely AK-47s at the moment. Dupree. Well-timed smoke, but maybe not well-timed enough. It looks like Complexity will trade through it. Magisk is happy, though. Gets himself 4 with ease. My goodness.
So, some of you may be wondering what happens. And basically, if at the beginning of that round, Astralis had 3 people towards the B bomb site, and I have to assume that is a hard read from Complexity that on the first buy round, Astralis, you can see on the radar, 3 people towards B. It has to be a hard read that they're going to make a play with 3 people towards B and they're going to use the numbers game towards the A site. No flash for a burst play or something. The smoke was well timed for Astralis and allowed them to have a much easier time of things. So it looks really bad, and maybe it could have been executed better, but you can see the intention was there from Complexity. must have been an expectation of 2 people. Let's play the numbers game. Unfortunately, they're playing against Astralis, and you need more than numbers.
You certainly do. Magis looks really good today so far, and obviously a player that's really developed so well fitting into this system. The newest addition, of course, Zipex. That's a nice break time. They'll pick up one. Glaive wants some as well, and he's going to get some. Here comes the rest of Complexity. Trade onto these players. They'll be successful against Glaive, but Zipex is still alive and kicking with that AK, and he's going to clean up the rest of these players with the PT-50 out right at the end for the cheeky ace. Lovely start for him, as now Astralis are 4-0, and Complexity will now be back on the bye.
Statistics. That was worth looking back on a demo as well, because the way the 3 players of Astralis played that out, because I think after the first play went down, Zipex was dealing with people, and even with the pistol, the third player was just shoulder peeking, maybe using a bait setup. And here we are, 4-0. Nice stats round for Zipex. Nuisance Molotov to stop the early advancement, and that goes so deep it stops them running up banana as well in a way that they might like to. Which allows Astralis to get into position earlier, starting with 2 towards B this time, but Glaive is starting to make his way over. Complexity won't be walking up mid on this occasion. Perhaps they've been taught to show some more respect to Astralis. Ooh, Shazam!
Close. He's a lucky boy. 15, and Complexity will have themselves to win, and trying to burst that balcony, but Magisk is still alive on the bomb side. The bomb is down. Android will scalp him as Glaive turns the corner towards Arch side, assisted by Zipex there to control things as best they can, but the bomb will still go down in the meantime, and Android and Def have to defend it against 3.
Def has a flash, but does he dare pull it out? They don't know what the status is towards the Arch position, so he may not feel like he can. 2 players. Oh, Android's going huge here. Glaive's the only one that remains, and we know where he is. He does now. And now they can play a 2 versus 1 if they want to, but Android goes back to well again, and Glaive's just waiting patiently. Gets 2 1v1s, and that is round number 5 for Astralis.
Oh, that's such a difficult spot for Def. You have to give it to Android, though. That almost looked like he was going to get the 3, the triple there, the sweep. That was amazing just to see how on point he is so early today. However, Def, in a really difficult spot there, do you try to peek, do you try to catch the other player, catch Glaive moving forwards, where you have an engagement advantage, or do you wait?
Yeah, I think Def threw a flash. I heard a flashbang go off, which is probably why he peeked there, because otherwise the alternative is you wait for him to get past the hay bales. Def picks him from sight. Then he's got nowhere to hide, and it's an instant 2 versus 1, so didn't quite work out there for Complexity, which is unfortunate for them, and Astralis are off to a rip-roaring start. 2 players yet to frag on the Complexity side. Hello, Henry.
I mean, this is where it gets dangerous too, right? I mean, Astralis, they're off to a really good start. Everyone is firing off. Complexity, they're going to be up against, and Astralis has a lot of money if things continue going this way, and that's a scary prospect. And Astralis are a great team when they're in these best-of-1 series, when they are in a position to have all these advantages and all this control, because all you have to do is, much like James was saying about Zipex, just watch how they play these advantages. They play very tight, and good flash from Complexity to force Device off the angle, so they will gain some small amount of map control here.
You saw a delay in the shot from Device, expecting a delay in the peak from Complexity to avoid the faster shot with a flash, because he knows they expect it to him. Anyway, Magic's boy gets picked off trying to rotate to double stack, and the B bomb site is very exposed now. Glaive just keeping an eye on top mid for the time being, waiting for the rotation to come in, and now there's a smoke down on Arch, which will allow their CTs to approach in a safer fashion, but there are more smokes to deploy, so a retake here might be awkward despite the numbers, and indeed Astralis will think better of it. 4 versus 5 with only the Arch area. It would be very costly indeed, so they will give Complexity their first round.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like Complexity, they ended up picking the perfect way to play that round. Obviously, looking at Magic's position, he was caught. Usually with these professionals on the CT side, it's not going to be super common that you're going to catch them, rotating from position to position where they're very, very weak, unless you've created a situation where they have a misread. And so it almost seemed like that, where Magic was, caught out, thinking that there wouldn't be players that could just pop out of balcony like that. considering that the rest of Magic's teammates were rotating towards B. Astralis thinking that it was going to be a B play, and they were mistaken, and there's nothing you can do in that 5v4, so they just, of course, go for that save. So really nice from Complexity. However, you know, again, that round, despite Complexity winning it, didn't really serve to do much to weaken the economy of Astralis, which will be a constant issue.
Yeah, I mean, Astralis, if they got wiped out, they could buy up anyway. They had $25,000 of equipment saved at the end of that round, and as you can see now they're on 32, so that's pretty much one person's buy, and the odd grenade here and there. So that has given them an extra buy in not trying to even invest one player, see if they get something, and then trying to go in more. It just saved the 4 players, and it's all good in the hood. Complexity now. Can they get a consecutive round on the board? 5 AKs for the time being. Inferno is not really the sexiest map to snipe on the T side of.
I like the double HE detail there on the position. Oh dear, that's a poor Shazam. Oh no. That's very surprising for him. Really nice nade there, and Astralis know what's going on right now. They have had so much information on the map with that banana control previously. They've worked out where Complexity are moving. They are rotating players now, but will they be there in time? There's a small window here where Complexity could potentially take an advantage if they were to burst onto this bomb site and take down Magisk immediately. Let's see if they can do it.
Will they wait for Stanislaw? He's moving up the arch position. That would allow them to split the sides, and now Astralis have been forced to move all the way back. Glaive rotating now from the B-bomb. Spotted, he's blinded, maybe the library can take him out. In the meantime, there's fights on the site, and Magisk will get picked off, leaving Glaive and Zipex out of position once again in that arch area. 2 versus 3. 2 of these players heavily tagged for Complexity. But what can Astralis do with what they have?
It's definitely a tough one. Not much in the way of utility to aid this push, and we're in a really good position. That's a beautiful peek coming in from Glaive, though. That will make the burden slightly lighter as they move forward. But Glaive, he's known. Ye will deal with him, and Zipex with 20 points of health. The best player is to save the AWP as he now darts back into safety. And Complexity pick up another round. Really nice from them on this T side, finding a way to really push Astralis into these horribly deep positions on the bomb site, and then abusing it with those with the utility, isolating them, and then taking them down. It's actually looking quite good, you know, despite a really strong start from Astralis. And the Complexity are absolutely fighting back and playing their T-side as they want to.
Yes, that was a very expensive round. I do wonder if Glaive wanted to save in that 2 versus 3, but obviously he had to fight to the death from his position, and that gave them a window to go for it. Didn't work out, but the AWP was saved, which will be some extra money for Astralis, but this is going to be a very expensive buy indeed. They will average $3,000 in the hole, which is very important for Complexity to try and picture as they move forward to have expectation. Shazam now with an AWP of his own. Stanislaw traded kill from Device in the previous round, saying his welcome, peaking top mid. So perhaps now with the money starting to run low for Astralis, we will see safer plays from the Danish squad. So this may be a more difficult round to win for Complexity, with less brazen play from the Danes. However, they are looking aggressive on Banana, trying to force the tease out, but they're still towards that tree position. Ye will get taken out, and maybe Astralis will be happy with that for the time being.
Yeah, I mean, little did they know, or maybe they do. It is Astralis after all. They almost got 2 kills there. They were very, very close, of course, to killing Death with the double HE, and that's sort of how the grenades work. You know, you throw those control grenades on Banana, and there's only so many places the T's can stand, so it's a pretty good bet that if you throw 2 HEs there, that you will catch a T. And with so much damage done, they fall back happily onto the bomb site. Complexity will just go for this one. They're going to have to do this with raw firepower. And there's not too much left here now for Complexity. Glaive still standing on the bomb site in the 1v1, and he'll deal with it very well.
Shut it down.
6-2 now for the Danes.
Yeah, so again, just watching the radar from the round prior when Device got that pick on Shazam, but then I think he was just still standing in the middle of top mid, but again, with more conservative play, it is a different story. So the run of success is stopped for Complexity, at least for the time being, and you'll soon see what it's done to their money, although a tactical timeout is being made. Shazam bought an AK, and okay, more AKs are coming out. I think Stanislaw had 6k. So we'll see what kind of buy Complexity have in the bag. Yesterday, I went to see both these teams while we were waiting in the evening, and Complexity got their MS Paint game on point. Shazam had a image full of inspirational messages. I was quite surprised. He invited me over and said, "What do you think of who's got the best MS Paint art here?" So you might see that in there. I know they have the vlogs when they're on the road, so you'll probably see that in one of them. Nice group of guys. Shazam, somebody who's matured somewhat.
The checkered past.
Yeah. Everyone's growing up. Apart from me.
Ooh. So much done by grenades here so far from Astralis' perspective. They've got Banana control device, of course, pressuring down onto the pit area as well, looking for another pick onto somebody. Shazam's no longer there this time, but oh my goodness, that's for sure as hell is, and that's going to be a quick pick from device.
Oh, smooth. That was absolute custard.
Oh dear, and you need your numbers on the T side in this round.
You do indeed. 2 of these 4 players still on pistols for Complexity. There's a chunky grenade to make life worse. But here comes a push from some of these teams. We've got a smoke grenades that creates space, bombs being dropped on the sides, and it's all blue frags. Not a single play lost for Astralis. Complexity took a gamble with the force buy, and it did not pay off at all. No frags, no bomb plant. And now they head into Eco Town. The struggle bus has pulled up to the stop.
Yeah, it's tough, isn't it? It's one of those spots too where the other team's playing, so well. It can be difficult sometimes not to get just ever so slightly disheartened with what you're doing. And I think in the rounds where we've seen Complexity sort of run their game, it's gone pretty well. They've had some good results. Picking up those 2 rounds in the way that they did. Because Decree, he wants an eco frags. He's pushing it through to second mid, and he's going to get his eco frags. 3 kills with the AK. Very nice, very nice.
Nice. And
this round will be over pretty soon here. Stanislaw will quickly inspect the flowers. They all have been watered sufficiently.
There are flowers all over the place. I'm still sad that you can't jump into the tree on Banana like you could on old Inferno. It was nice. It was a place of comfort. In a cold world, Dan, sometimes you need to climb a tree. Now, some may think, oh, why doesn't he just run and die? He's got a P250. But again, 1 kill is worth about $6,000 here. Exactly, with just over 30,000 carried by the Astralis team. Excuse me. And that's really important. 1 frag with a P250 can mean so much.
Yeah, you always want to be of the mindset too. What is the best? What is the best amount of value I can get from this situation, and how do I achieve that? And you go for that, and that's being in that mindset is really important, even in spots where there's very little you can probably do. You need to be consistent with that mindset. What is the best decision here? And speaking of money, Astralis' money is getting out of control. My goodness, device straight through. Once again, that pressure into apartments yielding more results. He is looking quite scary at this point now in the game. Please don't give him another one. They're going to give him another one, James.
Oh, that's a bad miss. That compromises his position. He immediately gets out of there. So again, no brazen play needed. 8-2. Don't need to take risks that are wholly unnecessary. Smoke's gone the wrong way. Eat it. Fall back. Complexity taking it slow. See some jump peaks from Glaive. Got to be careful. That's going to be an awkward one. He has to take the fight. And does Ye continue to charge through? He does. He expects Glaive to be on his own. He's not wrong. Charging towards construction, and maybe a fight there, but that's good damage from Zipex as he tries to hold on to real estate for his team. Device still in mid, Android still at the bottom of mid, and now the bomb is coming in as well. Android was just picked off by Device in mid. Look at that grenade, that was perfect, and the follow-up from Zipex, and this was on 6 HP.
Oh, what can you do? What can you do? Pretty much every position they're trying to take as well. You can see Shazam being forced out as his teammates have picked off around him. Not a good spot to be in. He's got to be perfect with this AK, and he doesn't even get a chance to shoot. Ye will also be of a similar fate as the round is picked up by Astralis. They are looking so good right now. They are flying.
Can we just talk about those grenades? I need to. This is this is GC demo value, because we saw a Molotov into the pool area, which stops a very strong position post-plant for the T's. Then we saw a HE grenade onto the coffins. Then we saw Zipex spraying the coffins through a smoke. Stanislaw, I don't think that anyone saw him, and he had 6 HP for the most part, and then got finished off very easily indeed. First bullet wins in that case. So we talk about, we've seen outstanding use of utility by Big already in this major, but of course Astralis are no stranger to good use of grenades, but that was really awesome to see. They maim and maim and maim, and then the Lions come in with a 4-man rush to just bite the heads off. It's really awesome. They're really getting so much efficiency out of their grenades to just make their life easier for on the duels. Like, how do you duel with 6 HP? Not very easily.
Yeah, absolutely. It's very tough here for Complexity. One thing too is that it's going to be difficult to find a consistent quality of opponents to practice against, such as Astralis, because Astralis do so much, as James says, in the way of creating just very efficient scenarios that it takes a huge amount of effort to get to that level. Of course, this is why they're touted as the best in the world, and so how do you prepare against that? You can watch as many demos as you want, but there is an element of just physical experience, tangible experience that you need in the server against them, and it's hard to replicate that with practice partners and opponents that you may routinely find when you're preparing for a tournament. So when you then face them in the server, there's all these sorts of considerations that you have to deal with. Maybe that you're getting shot, from angles which you haven't been shot from before, at timings which you haven't had to deal with before, and the same can be said from the kinds of nades that are being used against you. So there's a lot for Complexity to try to adjust to in this one map against Astralis. And so far for Astralis, it's a fun time. That is for certain. It's got to feel really good for Astralis, just playing your routine, doing your drills, the communication's on point clearly, and everything's working out.
Pistols for Complexity. And Astralis starting with 3 towards B. Easy take of Banana, but there's a smoke higher up now, and Ye will start to move into position. But that means Flame Carpet, Dormammu games. Back out again, away you go. And with about a minute 20 on the clock, Astralis take Banana. That's painful. Zipex has a smoke grenade, so they can really cut the timing here. Does he... Ooh. Glaive got caught with the jump peaks. Complexity trying to pick the right timing to move around these corners, play the close quarters advantages. 2 CTs here now. Glaive spotting, got to get back there from his teammate. He can look over that smoke. Position, but he's got much to do. Only 2 kills for him, and now this is winnable for Complexity.
Yeah, they can pick up those guns and make their way onto the bomb site through cover of smoke. Down. And some extra money and an extra kill too. Device being found by Shazam, and now the chances are starting to drop significantly for Astralis. A simple rush from Complexity. Who would have thought that could have been a solution for them? It's very hard to know. And right now for Astralis, it's just about doing damage, controlling these Complexity players, making sure that they don't take these guns into the next round if they can possibly help it. And Magis by the well, and that's where he will fall. So Shazam creating an avenue where his teammates can escape to safety, and they'll keep the AWP and 2 M4s. That is a great result for them, a great boon to their economy. Astralis, of course, everyone's almost on max money, so for them it doesn't matter too much. Wow, Zipex going down instantly.
Zeds.
Yeah.
75.
Glaive did a pretty good job to get 2 there, actually, from his position against CZs. That's very hard to get 2.
Yeah, to have to move your mouse around so much from close bottom left to up bottom right, and then just all over the place, and control your spray. Easy with the M4A4, but still, it's a very tall order with the numbers game of Complexity. And now they're in a much better situation, but you see some frustration from Shazam. Clearly Complexity have prepared for this again. I think that was very telling from that first buy round, as bad as it ended up for them. So they expect more of themselves from this. These best of ones where you can really capitalise on your prep. Continuation spray from Magis. Hello.
Oh,
Not expecting a second player there.
Now, there's a previous round where Complexity lost Shazam at the beginning of the round, and they were still able to win it with an A push. Oh, got to be so careful here with this device. He wants blood, and he's going to get it. Yay found, Yay fragged. Device looking for more as well. Hello. Just jumping back with a knife, disengaging. Good timing from Shazam. So 3 versus 4. 55 seconds on the clock. That's a good amount of time to try to leverage this situation into an advantage. But look at Magis. He's going walkabouts here in apartments, being very active. Love this.
Oh, Boiler is going to be rich. Oh, they've thrown the bomb on the floor. That's so much information. Shazam won't be spotted. Look at that peek from Dupree. That's absolutely monstrous. And now Shazam is alone. 29 seconds left. 1 versus 4. Does he just commit to his own doom here with the AWP, or does he try to save it? They're going to be looking for him. He's going for damage. A quick shoulder peek, and the bait is there. Dupree with the superior angle. The timing of that bomb being thrown on the floor was huge. And, I mean, it depends on what you want to do when you've only got 3 players left. If you're going to peek away from your other teammates, then fair enough to give the bomb to somebody else. But dropping it on the floor, if you've got a player on the site, it gives them so much information. That is something you would rarely see in that situation. And honestly, I mean, it's not often that I think you'll see... Again, if you drop a gun on the floor, it makes the same noise. So you'll sometimes see a fake. But for me, that was a lot of information given to the CT side, but the timing was extra brutal for Complexity because of the position from Astralis.
Yeah, he's going really aggressive. He loves it, and he's got the device to back him up. Oh my god, that was incredible! So quick, and a nade to follow up. It is a brilliant combo from Device to finish off the remainder of Complexity. Just Android left. That was such a... I mean, it's like a pixel shot.
It's such a fast correction.
Yeah.
It's such a sweeping motion with the AWP. It looks so beautiful as well.
Yeah.
And I would say it's harder than it looks to cancel, to strafe cancel, and make that correction as well. That is a man who is in tune with his sniper rifle. And
to have reactions to that quick as well. You know, he's visualizing as well, like pretty heavily, like his brain knows, like he's visualizing the spots in which, you know, as James says, you can kind of take that pre-fire sort of angle, but then it's a question of...
Oh, Zipex has an auto sniper, Dan. When do you see this?
Yeah, I agree. I've been, you got 16k, James.
This is... I don't think I've ever seen Zipex. Okay, his teammate has just brought the rifle to him. So those are basically warning shots. If you come this way, we've got a surprise for you. But in fact, they'll be equipped with much more nimble weaponry. Very interesting, but Complexity will focus the last round of the first half when they only have CZs to offer.
That's what back out for that AK, of course. And Complexity have found some success with the bursts, but Astralis have fortified this A-bomb site. 3 players around this quad position, quad pit and balcony. It's going to be very difficult. Vice will miss a shot, but maybe that will bait Complexity into their doom. More on Device. How much more can he get? Only the one, but he's got, again, Magis to help cover as well as Dupree, and there'll be more than enough to finish off the round and the first half. 12-3 for Astralis.
What can you really do against a setup like that? Again, Device looked like he was pointed in no return with the AWP, but he has a guy in pit to cover him. If he goes close to the wall, then you've got a bait set up there, and then you've got another guy in the corner as well. So really, really nice stuff from Astralis. Looking very hard to defeat on Inferno at the moment. Again, Complexity do look like they have prepped for this, but that prep was only good for 3 rounds in that half.
Yeah, it's difficult. Astralis just played such a high level of gaming, and the efficiency that they display as well, and even against an opponent in which they absolutely feel better than and just have so much confidence over, we're not seeing them overextend. You know, there's so many rounds where, you know, some other teams who are winning by a large margin might try to take liberties. Astralis just play with discipline, and moving into this pistol now, we aim to see even more of that. Ye will get some information, seeing all the players running up second mid. I like this one, Complexity, trying to meet these teams before they get up to top mid, and see if they can get some frags, and it is not going all that well here for Complexity. 2 players left now, and Astralis with a minute and a half left. They can go anywhere on the map, and that's so dangerous.
is slowing it down the T side. Androids is in an awkward position, but Dupree's unlikely to peek him anytime soon from the balcony because he would be so exposed across the A site. Now moving into mid, not seeing anything, and Device might spot him if he peeks mid again. So it's really a question of timing as to who's going to get what information because they're all moving around. Magisk Boy standing in second mid with the bomb. Hello, goodbye. And there's one player taken out. So that's half the information though for Astralis. Now where Stanislaw, they've just spotted him. What do they choose to do with this information? Magisk has a gamble to make. Repositioning. Ooh, Android, does he peek deep? There's so many different things that could happen. We just got to wait and see. Device slowly walking up. Goes for a fast peek, doesn't see anything top mid. Magisk Boy has walked past him. Device is doing the baiting now with the sound cues. There's Android, but there's no cues yet for Magisk. However, Stanislaw is starting to rotate, but he's keeping an eye on B just in case they have no idea. With 23 seconds, Magisk Boy can't really go into apartments to hunt for the kill. He's got to go for the bomb plant.
He does have that PT-50 and a smoke and a flash. This is very doable here for Magisk. A 1v2 clutch, waiting for his opponents to arrive. They don't know. I don't think they have any idea actually where he is. I don't think he made any sound cues that were audible. Android, if there was to be a sound cue to abuse, it would be him that has it. We'll see. Doesn't look like they have the information. They're checking the bomb site. Magisk, he's going to get one opportunity here. He's got to be good, but oh my god, Android's just way too quick, and they'll get the defuse. But at least, you know, he secured the bomb plant, so that's money in the bag for Astralis. And they have two options. They could force buy with it and have a very scary round with lots of utility and CZs, or they could just save for the AKs in the following round. Both are good options.
When it's a 2v2, that round could end in so many different ways, just depending on who comes across who. But Complexity, they win the pistol. A much needed pistol round for them after Astralis won the first one. Now, can they string the rounds together? Astralis, of course, planted the bomb. You saw the smoke was left in the site, quietly walked away, but Complexity played slow enough for that smoke grenade not to be a factor. And now here they are. Not much invested for Astralis, just PT-50s really. And again, any kill here has big value for Astralis. Armor does not come cheap for Complexity.
What can they find? Complexity really need to hold on to everything. Let's see if they're able to do it. Here comes the burst, up top mid, and a couple kills coming in from Astralis. That's already a great result. And oh my god, it's going to get even better for them. They can plant the bomb, they can pick up guns, they could win the round at this point. That would be devastating for Complexity as they make their way up towards top middle. And there is ample time here to get into post-plant positions for Astralis to make this as good as possible. And Syntax will have a good first engagement, spots both players, and now they can play the crossfire. This will be very hard for Complexity.
Device has a Molotov as well, which he's picked up. That's going to just delay the time. Stanislaw has a kit, smoke into the Molotov, and now they've got to push through the smoke. That could be suicide as a pop flash though, and Zipex gets taken out of 2 versus 1. So close to Vice dancing around the box. Stanislaw low, Stanislaw gone. Astralis with an opportunist play on short. They only had 4 P250s in that round.
That is incredible. Again, just a testament to how strong just good timing can be on your peaks. Having that man come out of balcony just to finish off the player on quad just in the nick of time was everything there for Astralis. And now Complexity completely crushed in their economy. Have to force buy, have to put it all on the line in this round with that force buy. And they're against a full set of rifles and utility here from Astralis. Not a good look here for Complexity, but let's see if they've got any shenanigans, any tricks up their sleeves to try to make this situation a bit easier. As Astralis will take Banana, falls out that Complexity have to work with. And Astralis can take their time now and just see if they can find one of those risky plays that Complexity will likely go for in this round.
It's so nice to see Complexity back at the major.
Yeah, that's very true.
It's really, really awesome. The FAMAS onto Ye, and Astralis are exhausting what little utility Complexity have. Moving through the apartments with confidence. They know that the equipment is limited here for Complexity. Cheeky peek from Device. Hope you guys are still watching Zipex on the Go TV. Although I think there's more value on the CT side, but he's just a man to watch. He's just a man to watch. Shazam now moving towards the B bomb site from Arch, which has been smoked off. Gamble's being taken by Complexity. They have no information towards Banana, no information towards top mid. They did presence on A. And now Stanislaus going back towards A, as is Shazam. Yeah, getting picked off. But how many players did he see? Just the one. And there goes Android as well. 5 players now moving into the A site for Astralis.
Yeah, dupreeh just having an easy time with those entries. It's been great to see. I mean, I think you know, for all of us that have been around watching Counter-Strike for quite some time, I think it's just generally quite satisfying having seen, you know, or seeing now just all of the Astralis players doing so well. Because I think, you know, if you go back to the core with Zipex, with Device and dupreeh, you know, from years ago, from TSM, or you know, however far back you want to go, we always knew that there was such incredible potential for those individuals, but they just couldn't quite reach, and there was a lot of hurdles along the way. You know, whether it was, you know, having to swap in-game leaders, or whether it was, you know, a psychology issue. It's so rewarding to now see them after that struggle manage to make it to the title of, or the consensus as the best team in the world.
Get ready.
But can they win this major, James? And last major, I think FaZe were considered like it was their time. And they were not able to take the trophy, but now it's Astralis' time. Can they make it a positive storyline?
CS is so competitive.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously they are the team to watch, the team to learn from. But when you've got teams like Liquid out there as well.
Yeah, Liquid is so exciting.
It's not going to be easy for anybody to win this major. No penalty shootouts. Got to do it the hard way. Yeah, it's going to be awesome. Complexity now. I mean, when you are against 14 rounds and you've got less than 5 rounds on the boards, and you've got to just play an eco round, it is just the absolute worst. Because now you have to win every single round. Which, I mean, like, you can eco and play out with some guns, or you can force buy in this round, but you basically have to win every single round regardless, so you might as well do it against match point in this situation. Yeah, at least in a professional match.
Definitely. It's such a difficult one for Complexity, but you know, as we mentioned right at the beginning of this matchup, at the very least, Complexity, you know, if they lose against Astralis, it's not as though they'll expect to win this game. This is not a match that anyone expects them to win, and that's not ever, I mean, it's never an excuse, of course, for any, you know, let's say, you know, ways that maybe you misperformed or things that you could fix, you know, of course, but at the same time, it's not going to sting as badly as losing to an opponent that you think that you should beat, or you've been beating in practice, or that you beat at previous tournaments. So Complexity now trying to do what they can with a decent buy here into this potentially last round. But the issue is that they don't have incendiaries, which is a big problem on the CT side here. It prevents you from being able to control the space on the map as much, and that means that Astralis will have so much space to work with, whatever they want really, with superior utility. And dupreeh looks like he wants a fast pick, going quite deep very early on.
Match point Astralis. The ace head is just about not visible. Now, it's pretty hard for dupreeh to go beyond this position. But let's see what Stanislaus is able to do here. Trying to play with this gap. Device off guard, he gets one and manages to hop around the corner. That's maximum value out of that smoke.
Yeah, that's really cool. It must be a set smoke there.
Ooh, peek he is. That is absolutely brutal. As soon as Ye turns away, does he pre-assume somebody's on short? He does with that pop flash. Flashes himself as well though, so he's got to be careful. He's got a teammate in tow on the balcony, and they start to move in towards the A site, but the bomb is still at the bottom of mid, which could be a problem for them because Shazam, as you can see, he's looking for something, but he'll get shot in the side of the head, and that's 3 frags. They should know that the B players are likely to be towards B or rotating. Now down they go one by one. Didn't really get a chance to even talk about dupreeh's position, but maybe that'll have to wait for another game because they will close this one out. 16-4, Astralis take out Complexity very comfortably indeed.
Yeah, great performance from Astralis, and you know, Complexity, there was some definitely, you know, positive signs.